Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tea and Chat. I'm Sharis Alldredge, and this is my sister wife, Vanessa.
Hi there.
So today for our tea, we are drinking Celestial Seasonings Caramel Apple Dream. It's an herbal tea. It's really quite nice. Very seasonally appropriate.
And it's really nice if you don't want caffeine. So,
yeah,
bonus on that.
Yes.
Okay, today we thought we would talk about something that is in the season. And what I mean by that is Thanksgiving is coming up. And that is by far my favorite holiday. Because all it's about is food, friends, and family. Like, that's all you need. And so it's my favorite. You don't have to buy gifts. It's really hard to... I think it's been hard for them to commercialize Thanksgiving because it's like... Nobody wants turkey decor. I mean, they might have a few, but you can only do so much before it's ridiculous. And it's not about necessarily gift giving, but it is about sitting down, being thankful, having a feast with such abundance, and sharing time with your family, which that is the best.
Yes.
Anyway, so what we wanted to talk about today was this idea of gratitude and thankfulness. And it's on our minds as we approach Thanksgiving. At least I hope it's on our minds. And I wanted to share some of my personal thoughts about it and a couple stories. One thing that has become really apparent to me over the last little while, and I've always known, be thankful, be grateful, it's really good for you. But when you sit down to try to internalize that and make that a part of who you are, it makes a difference. And in particular, the last couple of months, that's something I've been trying to focus on, is to shift my mind in how I perceive things around me and put it in more of a perspective of a positive framing. And with that comes an amount of gratitude for what's happening. So what I mean by that is, let's take an example of a typical day in a mom life. You got to get up early. You got to take care of your kids. You got to serve them breakfast. Boy, you wish you could sleep in. You didn't get enough sleep last night because so-and-so was up coughing, and it's very frustrating. You get up, you make breakfast, you spill the milk, and you get the kids ready for school, et cetera, et cetera. It's a stressful morning, and that's pretty normal in my experience and your experience. And let's say you reflect on the day. And I found this even when I talk to my children. Like, how was your day, Sebastian? Oh, it's bad. It's like, why was it bad? Well, because I wanted to play this and I couldn't.
And then you served burritos and I didn't want burritos.
Yeah, heaven forbid you try to feed me a bean. But anyway. And so it's when he reflects back on his day, he tells me how horrible it is. When I saw him throughout the day having fun, enjoying his time. And the same with myself. If I were to look back on that morning in a state of frustration, and I look back on the morning like, oh, I didn't even get enough sleep. I was rushed this morning. The kids are always hungry. And then I spilled the milk and it started off so awful. And I can look at that same day, the exact same events. And if I frame them in a positive way and be grateful, going, I woke up in the night with my child, but thank goodness that we didn't have to go to the ER. It was a cough, but it was only a cough, and she'll get over it. And then I got up, I had the chance to spend time with my kids, make them breakfast.
I have the ability to get up out of my bed.
Exactly. My grandma has a sister who has a form of arthritis, and she's had it for decades. And so many of her sisters would step in to caretake her. And it's so beautiful because my grandma would always say, I'm always so grateful for a night of sleep. And then I'm grateful in the morning for the opportunity to get up out of my bed. And so, same thing, can I view this morning with my children? I have the strength to get up out of my bed, to go serve my children. They're all present. They're all healthy. I spill the milk. Well, I had the resources to get the milk. I was able to provide that for them. And, I was able to take care of it. And then I got to spend the day preparing this and preparing that. And so it's the exact same scenario. But if I look back on it through a lens of negativity, I catalog it in my heart as something negative, versus the exact same day. You can catalog it in your heart with gratitude, and all of a sudden it was this beautiful morning. And so that is very, very powerful. I want to emphasize that. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're experiencing, if you look at it through a lens that is full of gratitude, you'll be able to look back on your life and see the beauty that's there versus the stress and the difficulties that it was. And I've known several people who have had really rough childhoods, like genuinely awful things have happened. I'll talk with them and they'll just say, my childhood was awful. This is why I still do what I do, because this happened and this happened. And it's just kind of like they're stuck in this pattern that it's just, it started out bad and it's still going bad. Versus people who have been through equally traumatic experiences who say, it was really bad, but I gained this experience through it, or I come out of it this way. And there's such power in that.
Yeah. Yeah, two people that can go through the exact same circumstance can view it differently and use it to shape their futures differently.
A good friend of mine was telling me a story several months back, and I thought it was really relevant to what we're talking about now and quite touching. She has a brother who was doing some hiking in Zion's National Park and through the canyons, and as anybody who is aware of that region of the United States, it's beautiful. The terrain is gorgeous. It's varied. There's canyons, there's red rocks, there's all sorts of stuff. But in that kind of environment, the weather can change quickly. And if it does, it can become very dangerous very quickly. They were going through some canyons, and I think there were some areas where they had to use ropes to climb up and do some rappelling. They were going through this area, and then the weather changed. I think there's some water in the bottom of the canyon while the water level was rising. And so they had to get up and out very quickly. Long story short, the conditions became very dangerous, and they found themselves on a ledge. Like, they got themselves out of the water, but they were stuck. They couldn't go down, they couldn't go up. They were really in a dangerous predicament. They were not wearing clothes for bad weather, so they were all wet, they were cold, they were stuck. And they had very limited service to be able to get word to them that they needed help. But they did spend the entire night on this ledge. They were able to huddle together, keep warm. It was raining all night, and they were praying and asking for help. And eventually they did. They got a helicopter down into this little teeny canyon. Very narrow. There was not a lot of clearance on either side of the blades. But they were eventually all rescued from that situation. And as they're all huddled into these, I think they were in an ambulance at that point, warming up. And they were just, wondering, like, man, we were praying, like, why won't the rain stop? It was so cold. Come to find out that it was raining where they were at, but everywhere else in the surrounding area, it was snowing. Gratitude does not erase the difficulties of life, but it helps us through them. And we will find ourselves in situations maybe we would really rather not be in. And yet, if you can find the beauty in what you have, and the gratitude that, it didn't stop raining, but it could have been so much worse, and we really were blessed in this situation. We really were watched out for, and even though it's not the ease that I would have liked, it was okay, and we made it through. We had the strength to get through this. And so that story was very touching to me, because it does show you that we do have sometimes a very limited perspective on our life's experiences in the moment. But as we reflect back on them, we can kind of see them in context with everything else that's going on, and we go, oh, well, that was hard, but look at that. That was really neat. Or look at how we were provided for in this way. Or look at what blessings I experienced that at the time I was very frustrated with. But now, looking back, I can see that was wonderful.
Corrie ten Boom tells a story in her book, The Hiding Place. Mm-hmm. And she talks about how this barracks that she and her sister Betsy were staying in, there was just the living conditions were unbearable. Their mattresses were just riddled with fleas, and just really, really tough circumstances that they had to try to survive through. They had managed to smuggle in a Bible into this concentration camp they were staying in. And her sister Betsy came across this verse, in all things give thanks unto the Lord. And so Betsy started to verbally give thanks for the fleas. And Corrie was like, that's ridiculous. I will never be grateful for fleas. That's just, you're taking it too far, Betsy. But as time passed, they realized that inside this particular barracks, they had more freedom than any of the other barracks that these other women were staying in. They could hold their Bible studies into the evenings. and move about with a lot more freedom and socialize. And the guards of the concentration camp never came in. And after a time, they realized that it was because of the fleas that the guards did not come into their barracks. So, with further light and knowledge, Corey realized that her sister was right. Thank you, God, for the fleas. And you think about the different mindsets. Betsy, without the knowledge of why or how God was using these fleas to protect them, she was still grateful for them. And Corey eventually got there. But the mindset that each sister carried through that, I think, made a difference for them.
Yeah. I mean, it still is a challenge to train ourselves to do this.
Being grateful didn't make the situation go away. It just made it a little bit more bearable.
Right. And how many times do you and I, we're faced with a difficult situation. Like, oh, thank you for the fleas. Like,
try to remind ourselves
to recognize where we're at and go, I don't understand the whole situation, but I'm going to find a way, and maybe in time I'll see this. Yeah,
let's try to keep a positive mindset.
Yeah.
Find something to be grateful for, and even if that's the fleas in our life. So,
but it is okay. I will tell you this: it's a challenge. This is not an easy thing to do. You can just be like, done. I'm a grateful person who's always happy. No, sorry. Wish it was so easy. It's a challenge. You have to make a decision that that's what you want to do, how you want to function. And then honestly, you kind of had to try it for a while. Like, okay, I'm going to just try it a little bit. And then maybe it you try it out and you're like, okay, you know what? That was really helpful. I'm going to look back on my day and go find the positive in it. And then maybe you're like, that was nice. I'll try it again. And you have to really work at it intentionally. It does not happen on accident, because I think our go-to is to be irritated. That's mine.
It's a lot easier to be irritated. It's the pathways there are quicker.
Hey, and you know what? Sometimes it feels really good to be super irritable in the moment. And then about 2 seconds later, it's so much worse.
What is that song that they sing on White Christmas? When you're worried and you can't sleep, count your blessings instead of sheep. I love that. And it ties into this idea of your mindset. You're worried, you can't sleep, you're anxious, count your blessings. Make gratitude a part of you, and it will shift things. It will shift your perspective.
As you do this, you'll find that it will transform your heart. As you look at yourself and watch yourself become something more. And it's a very gratifying process. No pun intended. But it's worthwhile.
There's a story from Scripture that comes to mind. In this story, I think it's in the book of Luke, there are 10 lepers who come to Christ and they want to be healed. And Christ does. He heals all 10 of these lepers. And they leave, and only one comes back and thanks Christ for what he did. And you could ask yourself, how many of those lepers were grateful that Christ healed them? I dare say all of them. All of them were grateful. But how many of them were thankful? Just the one. And so if you wanted to take your gratitude to the next level, express it. Don't just be grateful, be thankful. Make it an action, not just a mindset, but an action. Express your gratitude.
So with Thanksgiving coming up, I hope that maybe you'll be able to take some of the thoughts that we've shared today and let them ruminate in your minds and your hearts. Give it a chance to transform your life a little bit. And with that, we wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. I hope your feast is wonderful and your time with friends and family is a delight. And then we will see you afterwards.
Thank you.